Hello everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar on grit as part of Veterans Health Week. My name is Beth Masling. I'm a psychologist and I'm excited to explore how we can help you thrive. I'm part of the clinical team at Provocatus, a veteran-owned healthcare company dedicated to the wellbeing of veterans. Our clinical team include veteran Dr. Michael Mumford and our veteran nurse Nigel McIntosh to support your healthcare. This webinar is focused on supporting ADF veterans, and I want to firstly thank each and every one of you for your service. Thank you. If you are not a veteran, you are welcome to join us. This information can be useful for anyone looking to flourish. Information provided today is general in nature. We can support you through a personalised program with referrals through our Veteran Access Scheme. If you need urgent support, please contact Lifeline or Beyond Blue or Open Arms, or you can use your local clinical team of GPs or mental health support. The Veteran Access Scheme provides compassionate access to treatment for ADF veterans experiencing service-related pain and health conditions. With the mission to improve health outcomes for veterans and their families across Australia, we focus on medication, healthcare appliances, clinical wellness, and health education. So let's get started. In your experiences as veterans, you have often been faced with unique challenges. Research has shown grit is part of what helps you navigate these obstacles with resilience, resourcefulness, and determination. But I want to start with a story of grit. The gentleman on the left of the photo is Alan. He is my grandfather. He served in the 8th Division, 2nd 29th in Malaya and Singapore before being captured and spending 3.5 years in Changi Prison as a POW. They dealt with years of malnutrition, brutal conditions, and treatment. Those Australians who survived were young, fit men and some women. They were mostly recruited from country areas. Research shows they had some unique characteristics. Ingenuity. They were problem solvers. They had bush skills so they could set up rough shelters, light a fire for cooking even in the rain, and solve problems. They had mateship, supporting each other through hardship and illness, and humour, sometimes black humour, to lift spirits and to make the most of the language barriers. These characteristics were true of Alan, a bush kid from out between Walgett and Lightning Ridge. He was a bit of a ratbag with lots of bush skills honed living and working in the mulga scrub, dealing with floods and droughts and living on the land. And as materials were scarce, he had a talent for making do and being resourceful. Now, Walgett is hard country now. I can't imagine how hard it was in the 20s and 30s and 40s, a real breeding ground for gritty people. But Alan, my grandfather, had something else to feed his grit. He had a wife and a new baby that was born while he was deployed. That baby is my mother, and he and Mum met for the very first time when he returned to Australia on the hospital ship when Mum was 4. Having a new family was an important driver in his survival, a long-term goal. I hear stories of grit from our veterans as they tell me about their service experiences, and for many of our veterans, the transition to civilian life can be challenging. Harnessing their existing skills and reconnecting to their own grit can help them to achieve their goals. But grit is way more than just resilience. Psychologist Angela Duckworth's research says that grit is the combination of passion and perseverance towards achieving very long-term goals. It's about sticking with something over the long haul, even when the going gets tough. As veterans, you have faced challenges that tested your grit, and today we'll learn how to harness that strength in your civilian life. Now, grit is essential for several reasons. 1, resilience. It helps us bounce back from setbacks. Goal achievement, it's key to reaching our long-term goals. And for our mental health, grit can improve overall well-being by fostering a sense of purpose and achievement. Let's take a moment to think about a time in your personal lives or professional careers when you really had to demonstrate grit. What did that look like for you? It could be running a half marathon. We know that doesn't start on race day. It is the months of early morning training before work, hill repeats, long runs, strength sessions, building capability, self-confidence, and miles, staying away from the fridge, prioritizing sleep over social functions. Or it could be recovering from surgery, maybe your ACL, and that muscle rehab every single day. And then the box jumps. That's a brain trick, that one. Or it could be teaching your child who's a learner driver. It's 120 hours in New South Wales with a teen who wants to drive to their sporting event that's 5 hours away. And then you're doing 80 kilometres an hour in a 110 zone for hours on end. That's grit. Research shows that people that survive prisoner of war camps around the world have had a focus on hope, but not an expectation of a result. Hope that they would survive, a focus on ingenuity and getting through the now, not tomorrow, just focusing on what they could do today. Those that expected rescue by a specific day or time or event soon became despondent and lost the ability to persevere. Many of these people would not survive their internment. Psychologist, author, and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl wrote about his observations and experiences in concentration camps in the Second World War. Frankl observed that those who were oriented toward the hope of a future, towards a meaning that waited to be fulfilled, were more likely to survive. This reminds us of Alan. Researcher and psychologist Angela Duckworth talks about grit as being passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. And the choice of these factors is interesting. The origin of the word passion is suffering, and for sure it can feel like suffering when we are persevering. Think Ned Brockman, who recently was running around the track with blisters on blisters, breaking out bigger and bigger shoes to accommodate the swelling in his feet and the bandages on those blisters to raise money and recognition for homelessness charity We Are Mobilised. Not to mention the mental challenges, fatigue, insomnia, and the relentless, flat 400-metre track. That is grit. Duckworth's team studied lots of different groups: Chicago high school students at risk of dropping out of school, West Point Military Academy cadets, even spelling bee contestants. The researchers wanted to see who would stay in training and who would drop out or leave early. What the research found is that success is not related to intelligence. People who score higher on measures of grit were more likely to graduate regardless of their smarts. So the research says that talent doesn't equal grit and doesn't equal success, and that grit correlates strongly with the big 5 personality factor of conscientiousness. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck has also found something called growth mindset. It says that the ability to learn is not fixed. It can change with effort. Our brains change in response to challenge, and this is the key to grit. We need to take our best ideas, our strongest intuitions, and we need to test them. The key is to be willing to learn from the information, to change our mind, and to start over with the lessons learned. We can be gritty about becoming grittier. The author James Clear from Atomic Habits talks about how to build grit. He says, define what grit or mental toughness means to you. So it could be that your focus is on exercising every day for a month, or calling one friend to catch up twice this month, or making a plan the night before for 2 tasks to do the following day and writing them down. He also says you can build grit with small wins. So building grit or mental toughness happens through repeated effort, like building a muscle. It is in the everyday tasks, keeping the kitchen clean, getting your list done, not just once, but over and over again, following your schedule, not just when you feel motivated, being consistent, doing it anyway. This is developing grit. There is so much more we can help you with. There's loads of strategies. There's 2 I can give you today. Choice architecture is making your environment support your choices through action. So if you're focusing on weight loss, you might put the chocolate out of reach or not even buy it at all. Or if your focus is exercise, you might lay out your exercise clothes the night before. Another strategy is temptation bundling. That's when you pair a desirable task with an undesirable task. So you might be focusing on exercise, but you don't really like it. So you pair that with watching your favourite Netflix show, and you're only allowed to watch your favourite Netflix show when you're on the treadmill. You can't watch it unless you're doing the task. My daughter needed to clean her bathroom when she was a teenager, and she could only listen to her favourite serial killer show on YouTube, Bailey Sarin, Murder, Mystery and Makeup Monday, when she was cleaning the bathroom. That meant she got the job done and she got to watch her favourite YouTube show. So every veteran I have met describes their extraordinary grit and determination to complete the task, to survive the environment, to go the distance. And sometimes when they leave the ADF and enter a new world, it can be challenging. You will have setbacks, but setbacks give us information. Treat it as an experiment. Notice, that is interesting that it worked out that way, not what I predicted. No judgment, not good or bad, just information. There are some foundation must-have, and it really helps to build these underneath you, a bit like the legs of the stool. Exercise, sleep is a superpower, stress and mood management, along with some other skills, and social connection. So with exercise, it doesn't matter what it is. What you can do reliably is what matters. So whether that's going for a walk every day or lifting some weights for 20 minutes or doing some gardening, your body doesn't know whether you're lifting weights or gardening. It's what you do reliably that matters. Sleep is a superpower. So that means that we need to really think about our medications, make a plan for tomorrow, write down your worries so they're out of your head, having that calm routine before bed, no phone, low light. Supplements like prebiotics in the evening can also help improve sleep. Stress and mood management, so learning the skills to recognise and work with your whole self. And social connection, building that team of people around you that helps build you a life worth living. When you are stressed, sometimes it can feel like your brain has gone offline, but there are things you can do to reset from the ground up and support your brain. Like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears story, practicing skills when you're not too overwhelmed, not too stressed, but also not too calm, can help those skills to become second nature. So that, like muscle memory, you can then use them when you're feeling overwhelmed. There are loads of techniques that start with the lower brain, the brainstem and the cerebellum and the limbic system that help you get back in control and get the front of your brain back online. Breathing techniques are free and powerful. There are loads. You can do breathing for a 6-second cycle for in for 3, out for 3, or in for 3, out for 4. Or you can do a 4x4 box breathing. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. We know that breathing 6 to 10 breaths per minute improves loads of things. It changes the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your blood. It makes you feel better. It increases the stroke volume and cardiac output. It increases the return of blood to the right side of your heart. It synchronizes the blood pressure with heart rhythm, slows your heart rate, increases vagal tone and heart rate variability. We know it improves cognitive performance. That's the way you think, by increasing alpha wave activity in our brains. It improves alertness. Loads and loads of reasons why breathing, simple strategies are really good. There's also a great one called the physiological sigh, which is 2 short, quick breaths in and then 1 long breath out. When we repeat that for, say, 30 seconds, we know now that it regulates the respiratory system. It fills your lungs, balances the gas exchange and oxygenation of your blood. I don't know if you've ever noticed kids sobbing, in a tantrum, and suddenly they just go and stop. And what we know now is that is when the brain senses a decrease in the blood or oxygen levels or an increase in stress. And the base of our brain sends the signals to part of the brainstem that triggers the physiological sigh, that 2 short breaths in and a long breath out, to help restore the balance within the respiratory system. The deep breathing of a physiological sigh stimulates the release of neuropeptides such as oxytocin and vasopressin, calms the nervous system, improves focus and clarity, and regulates emotions. Breathing, you would have had experience with breathing techniques, maybe when you were doing some operational shooting training, or you might notice on any of the football codes when they gather together, someone will lead the breathing and you'll see them doing some deep breaths in and slowing their breathing down. Another strategy you can use is mindfulness. Imagine a sushi train. And all those little plates that are going around the train are different thoughts. Now, you might not like the prawn, or you might not like the seaweed. So they might be your negative thoughts, but you really might like the teriyaki chicken or those little dessert mochi. So the mindfulness one is that you notice your thoughts, no judgment, just notice them coming by. Negative thoughts, don't take the plate, don't take the prawn, don't take the seaweed. Yeah, I like that thought. Maybe focus on that and take that one as well, the teriyaki chicken. Gratitude, it's like a battery. You can't have a negative without a positive. Michael J. Fox, the American actor who lives with Parkinson's, said that gratitude and optimism is sustainable. When you find something you can be grateful for and something to look forward to, then you can carry on. So your task as you build a life in the civilian world is to become your own CO. By building a social network, a community of supportive people, a brain's trust if you like, finding your purpose or something that you are interested in, whether it be work, volunteering, hobbies, sport coaching, using your skills in a new way. Embracing challenges. Setbacks help us sharpen our focus and provide opportunities for growth, and they will happen. And if you are at a decision point, maybe about your career or something else, then making a choice and then making it right. So doing the work for success. Stress and mood management is also important. So building a toolkit to prepare you for life's challenges. You'll hear us focus on physical health all the time. So sleep is a superpower. Physical activity every day is a must. And there's help with pain management and tips to manage negative thinking. If you want a personalised approach to your wellness, do reach out to us for support from our clinical team. You can email us at info@provocatus.com or you can call 1300 129 465. That's 1300 129 465. And lastly, thank you again. Thank you for your service.